Alright, the first thing you're going to want to do is run out and get yourself, or cut out, the lettering that you want. For me, it's a P. That's the letter of this sign that I'm going to be doing for hanging on your wall, the picture sign. P does not stand for picture, but anyway, I picked these up at Hobby Lobby in the Woodpile collection, and then I took it home and I spray painted her black, and I let it dry overnight. You can use brush-on paint, whatever paint you want, just as long as it sticks to the wood. Because you want it dark though, so it kind of hides in the background. Because you're not going to be able to cover every square inch of this with a picture, unless you're more talented than I am. And then you're going to want to take and lay your pictures over top. Now, keep in mind you're going to be trimming these, so like with this picture, that's the subject I want, so I'm going to be able to trim off these edges. Same thing with like this picture, where I'm going to be coming around and cutting off probably the legs and then the sand, but I don't want to cut off anybody's head, so you can kind of feel underneath where it bends, and that's where your cut line is going to be, so his head will be fine. But it also comes into play like this one here, where we're coming around a radius. I got my daughter here where her head's solid, and George, I want his head to be solid. And you can even kind of, it's sticking just a little bit because the paint's up, finagle them just a little bit so that everything fits and the pictures overlap. And if you see, like right here, pretty much no matter what you do, you're not going to be able to cover everything, but it helps. And the next step's the fun step. Alright, now I recommend you snap a picture of this with your phone so that way you remember how it all goes. But then you're going to take all your lettering, sorry about the camera there, and take it off in a somewhat orderly fashion. I'm going to try and keep most of my orientation together. And then I'm going to take my Mod Podge, and this is the special paper one. We'll see how well it works. But this is basically just going to be the under laminate. And don't get too crazy with it, but the same fact is you want everything to stick. I don't like the runs. This stuff should dry clear, so if you get a little bit overlapping, it's not a big deal. I just don't like the idea of having runs and anything stuck to my paper. But even if it does, it won't be a huge deal because we're going to come through with a razor knife and trim it back anyway. So I can trim my paper off. Okay. Now we're going to start laying down our photos. The other nice thing about the Mod Podge is the fact that you can lay it down and still maneuver it some. And I don't want to cut anybody's head off. I don't mind if I cut the legs off so much. And just kind of press it flat. Now, anywhere your photos overlap, oops, made a big drop there. I have to go back and just add just a little bit more of the Mod Podge. Oh, that one's stuck pretty good already. Don't be afraid to overlap a little bit. Like I said, this stuff dries clear. So once it's dry, you'll never see it. And we're gonna We got all this extra ocean over here. I could have trimmed it prior to laying the photos out, but then if I would have got it wrong, I wouldn't have any extra play with. Let's go ahead and do these two. Alright, 2 hours later, we'll come back and revisit. Alright, now what you want to do is take, I recommend laying down some additional paper, flipping this over, and I found it easiest if I just take this off. This right here. And then you lay it flat in its back after once the glue's dried, or at least mostly it has. You're going to take your X-Acto knife and very carefully trim all along every picture, or every picture right on down the edge. And you can slowly peel off each of the extra edges. Oops. If you cut into the wood a little bit, it's not that big of a deal. But you're going to want to be as careful as possible, because a lot of the times why didn't I cut through anything in there? There we go. And you're going to get, see how I'm getting the edges formed all around? That's what you're looking for. And the reason for the clean paper is just so you don't accidentally stick it in some glue or something like that and smear up all the rest of your photos. remember, slow and steady wins the race here, guys. Anyways, you guys get the idea. Let's skip to the part where these are finished. Alright, now once you're done with your X-Acto knife, this is about what you should get. Now, remember what I said about remember where the focus is of your photo? Well, as you can see here, you know, I did really well, and here I did really well, and oh, this picture changed. That's because when I came by with my knife, I cut the heads off my brother-in-law and my sister both. So, yeah, there's that. Now, if you want, you could be done at this point. Let it dry overnight and be done. But we're going to take it one step further, and I'll show you how I do that. A little bit of glue. Okay. So one of the other tips I just got, and it seems to work out pretty well, is to go ahead and put some thumbtacks on the bottom side to stand your project up off the paper. And that will keep it so that if you do get a run, it doesn't dribble over and then stick from the paper to the project. It'll separate a little bit. Then you just want to go ahead and put on a nice healthy coat of poly. I am terrible with poly, but these projects seem to turn out nice either way. Make sure you get all the edges and the surfaces that you can. I'm going to recommend at least 2 coats, but I mean, sky's the limit once it starts. You know, it's kind of whatever you decide it's going to be. And this will bring a lot of the gloss back to your project. Anywhere that you coated originally with the Mod Podge that didn't turn out quite crystal clear, once you put this over it, it'll take that satin right back out of it. Okay, well, I'm going to continue painting this, and we'll do my 2 coats, and then I'll show you the finished product. And after about 2 days, because, well, it's cold out here, this is the finished product, and you can hang it on your wall. Bada bing, bada bang. Oh, the thumbtacks, I don't know if I addressed this because it's been like 2 days, but that's just to stand it off from the paper, so that if you do get a drip, it drips down onto the paper. And I don't think that's too bad. And it's everything that goes into my dad named Pat. That's what the kids call him. There he is. And that's the overall whole thing. So if you want to give it a try, give it a try. The only thing that I can say that is negative that I haven't quite solved yet is sometimes you get like a little bit of leaching under the edges. You can see it right there, where I don't know, sometimes it like wicks under and changes the color a little bit, but this one didn't turn out too bad. Yep, I like it. So, unfortunately, I won't be able to post this for Christmas, but maybe for Father's Day, Mother's Day, something like that, you could make a sign just like this.